Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. I'm trying to see what's going on here. I don't have my headset, so things are working a little bit differently right now, y'all. But I had to do this live stream. I had to do this stream. I said it's been a minute since y'all heard me. It's been a minute since y'all seen me. It's been a minute since I've done DaAfrican Speaks. And this one was important to me because this is what was happening to me. And so most of the time when I'm giving lessons or we talking about the rise of the African, our social media Pan-African movement, we still on this, and I got some big things popping. I had a meeting today. Woo! All this come through is going to blow your mind. However, I had to push past some of the things that I was going through. And we talked about setbacks and, and certain things in your life that will throw you completely off. And so it was quite a few things that attacked me in this journey that we're on in regards to the rise of the African within myself and the rise of the African within my community. It's a lot that's been going on in me to keep me from being able to do what I'm called to do. And I said, you know what, this is what, and sometimes God put things, the Creator and your ancestors put things in front of you so that you can become better at who you are and what you're called to do. Clear. That's clear. So everything that I was going through, or I am going through, and everything that I proceed to push through it is because the Creator and my ancestors are saying we need to chisel you down a little bit more. We need to make you a little bit firm because of the responsibility that's on you to help that African rise and everybody else. That rise in the African, in the diaspora, wherever we are, has to happen. So it's you. And so today's topic in that process, today's topic is modern day slavery, understanding the game. What? Modern day slavery, understanding the game. And you know how we always say in the hood, game knows game, right? And so I'm sitting down and I'm going through some things and I'm thinking it's only in my personal life. No, it was way more than just my personal life. When anything attacks you, it's going to attack everything. And especially when you graduate past a particular point, you're gonna have you will be attacked when you're on this mission for deeper sense of consciousness and a sense of self, a deeper sense of God. When you're on this mission, if you're not being attacked, then you're not on the mission yet. If things are not hunting you down and you're not where you're supposed to be yet, if everything is smooth and gravy, then that means you're caught in the matrix. Because nothing about building the God in you comes easy. Nothing about that comes easy. You become more powerful, but nothing about it comes easy. It's a lot of surrender, and it's a lot of, I wouldn't even say mortifying your ego, because we believe in that, but I believe my ego is supposed to be crafted in a way that what I want is what God wants. I elevate and evolve to the understanding of the African. The African's ego exists as a state of saying. It's not a state of self-preservation. And if it is a state of self-preservation, it's a self-preservation of a people. And you embody that. So my ego will always uplift what God would have me do. And so in that space, I have to understand the game that I'm in. So I was been dealing with this modern day slavery, understanding the game. And a lot of people, it's like, what, modern day slavery? Why? Because slavery don't look like this no more. Without you knowing it and without you understanding it, whether you acknowledge it or not, this is the inner you. It's that child. Why? Because a man and a woman is different categories than the male and the female. A being is not a full adult unless that being does for themselves, are self-determined. We are a people that are children behind bars. Ain't that something? Jay, that's kind of hard. That's true. And so we got to understand that modern day slavery is closer than you think, and I don't care how well you live in. I don't care how many trips you go on, how many concerts you go see, what clothes you buy. The things you have around you are a manifestation on whether or not you know how close slavery is or isn't. What? Yes. And sometimes it's hard, interacting with your friends or people who are not understanding how close this is, because you can't get people to unify if they don't realize how close this is. You can't get relationships to stick if they don't realize that the atmosphere is built for us to stay apart. It's built for us not to come together. The environment, the social dynamics, the judicial dynamics, the educational dynamics, it's built for us. So even the spiritual dynamics, we have more spiritual or Afrocentric groups and millionaires than ever before, and we ain't no closer than we've ever, to experiencing what it means to be an adult on earth. What? Doesn't. Why, I tell you. Because it's clear, because most of our time in life is off balance. Off balance. Rich are trying to maintain and stay rich. They sit like this with everything they got. They can't move with it. They can't really create or produce. Right? But they get to hold on what they have. The poor, way off balance. And wait, I would say the economically deprived people don't even walk across the rope with 2 feet. They got to learn how to hop with 1 foot. I get the balance. Rich people get they get a plaque, they get a board that they get to walk on. It's a little bit more stable for them. But you're still struggling to make those ends meet. You're still struggling to try to figure out, there we go, how to make the world work, not just for you, but for your family, your people, for everybody. I have a friend, multimillionaire, and she said COVID hit her hard. Hit her hard. Why? Because now she has to maintain life for her entire family until the world economics pick back up again. And that's if it ever changes. And I'm going to show you something. If it ever changes. It's hard to make it meet. Tonight, yeah. We talking about modern day slavery. Understanding the game. Understanding the position in which we live and how we think, how we move, and how to make things better. And to get to that point, you have to always realize the reason why you are struggling to maintain and make ends meet is because it is still based off our relationship in this country has always been about economic growth. And it's not economic growth for us as a people. And at this particular point, they don't even care if a few of us make money. Now, you go into the plantation dressed well, head high, smelling good. Why? Because the physical brutality of it all is different. What they allow you to wear is different. But you got to know that it's all based, our interaction here is all based off of economic growth for the country. We are the workforce. Oh, I had a clip to show you that. We are the workforce. We are what makes this go round. We are the consumer base. The consumer base. And so most of the time we can't focus on stability, or that's all we focus on is the basic root of survival, because they make sure that we stay here. However, even staying here, and it doesn't matter how much you have, what never changed is the economic relationship. It just never changed. And so it doesn't matter how much you make and what you do and what you produce is always in a loop to where it doesn't support the development of your community. It doesn't support, because everybody's talking about generational wealth. Generational wealth. Generational wealth. And we talk about that Wakanda experience. Well, building generational wealth is a beautiful thing, but if you ain't building within it, if you're not kingdom building a kingdom, and let's get this thing done. If you're not building an institutional power where you can govern and dictate to yourself, you still exist in a state of modern slavery. And over a period of time, what they did, and again, we trying to understand the game. Understand the game because it threw me off. Because everything will come at you wrong. When you're dealing with a slave mindset, and individuals don't know that they have a slave mindset, and then they function from you for a slave mindset, and they're wanting you to accept, they want you to be and look good and just be a good looking slave. Get your money, go party, have a good time. Don't focus on community and building. Don't focus on liberation. No. Let's just be a better slave. And then not only, this is the thing, not only are we telling each other to be better slaves, over a period of time, they said, look, we need to build a better mousetrap. Exactly. And yet another one gets caught. Build a better mousetrap. They were focusing on building a better mousetrap, locking us in that economic need for us to only focus on day-to-day survival. And then the minute that you get out of that day-to-day survival, you need to go have a good time. So it's survival, good time, survival, good time, survival, good time. Because surviving takes so much out of us. Takes so much out of us. Takes everything we got just to make ends meet. Just so that we can walk out and again have our heads held high. Threads on the back. Going somewhere. You feel like you moving. But you're not. You're still a mouse in the wheel going round and it's spinning because it's not growing. The world doesn't change on behalf of us. It changes according to what the world wants. Why? Because they focused on building a better mousetrap. And that mousetrap changed over courses of time. It changed over courses of time. And we got to understand the mousetrap that we in right now. But taking a look at where we came from. The first economic relationship was based off of agriculture. Agriculture. We didn't make anything. They made everything. And this is where we were as adult men. We never made it to adulthood. Adulthood is not based on your age. It's based on your awareness of not only who you are in God and whose you are in God, but also what God has called you to do, period. Who you are in the Creator, whose you are, who you are as a person, whose you are, and what you're called to do. That's where you find your adulthood. That's where you find your adulthood. When you embark on kingdom building. So you see these young faces, and I say we have a lot of adults with that young spirited slave mentality. You just picking cotton. And you got to understand, this is what they did. Why? Because of economic foundation. They needed to build the most powerful country on the planet using free labor. So the first wave of the mousetrap was agriculture and free labor. Once that manifested, there was that civil war, right? And we went into a post-industrial age, right? So you got post-industrial, where before it blew up, you still have raw resources coming in. Then you had the industrial era. And I said, everybody, grandmama or granddaddy worked at a factory. Where we got those resources, and now we sitting there saying that we migrated to the cities, That's how Mississippi got to Chicago. That's how people on the Delaware Indian Reserve got to New York. Come on, the South moved to the North where there were jobs. Why? Because of the economic relationship that we shared. They changed the mousetrap. Why? Because they knew that we were going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to fight because we knew that there was something greater for us. We want to make our way in this world like every other man. We built the land, so why can we not enjoy what we build? And so they said, look, the northern states said, we need to end slavery because the northern states will always, the southern states will always have control in the government. So let's end slavery, move the workforce to the cities, give them jobs, end slavery, and build a metal mousetrap. They won't know. They're still economic pawns. They won't have a clue, and they will be working hard not to build something of their own, but to continue to make the sprocket, the country grow. That's why they had to destroy Black Wall Street. They had to destroy it. Why? Because it wasn't a marketplace. Because now we creating places they call Black Wall Street, and it's all of this is a marketplace where we can go buy and sell goods. It's not stock market based. People are not getting dividends off of it. You're not invested in somebody's booth where that person is cutting you checks and you selling stock. That's not happening. But it's a good way to take the title of the name and get people to come and shop with black on black vendors. That's good. I'm not against it. I'm just saying those vendors, we need to know if they are contributing those funds to a community. Or are they only doing, because now everybody has to have an LLC. Everybody has to do, your own business. Why? Because it's like, you're just trying to function better in modern day slavery. They allow you to create your own plantation for yourself. Why? Because you ain't trying to build anything that goes against the system. You're trying to build something to exist within the system. Trust me, I've been dealing with this one. Because after I got past the relationship issues that I was having within my community, outside my community, in my personal life, when I got past those, now I'm dealing with my job. I love my job. Let me stop. I love what I like my plantation. Let's say that. The plantation that I'm on, I appreciate the plantation that I'm on because the plantation, I got an easier plantation. But with the more you make on the plantation, the more responsibility it has, and I realized it was drawing me away from what I was called to do. And in this process during COVID, I remember I had to take a break from helping my community move forward because the plantation not switched increased the pay significantly. And I had to learn. I had OJT like I never had it before, and it controlled my life. It controlled my up and my down. It had me actually focusing on everything I had to maintain the plantation. I said, I got to get this under control. I'm being attacked. And I understood it. I said, at first it frustrated me and I had to breathe. I said, I'm being attacked. I'm being set off guard, and I have to develop a means of getting back on track. A lot of times when we are here, and we're going to get to the third, because we did, I did agriculture, post and industrial era, and we got one more coming. But in this space of dealing with my scenario, where I'm fighting through my modern day plantation, dealing with my modern day slavery, I came up with ideas, I came up with concepts, and I couldn't focus on manifesting them as much as I wanted to because a lot of my time was taken from my plantation. Now, usually in our community, we always say that you are supposed to, in this, we have to have a sacrificial generation. A sacrificial generation that says, I understand that I am still in with all my freedoms. It's still a modern day slavery because they control our comings and our goings when it comes to our financial development, our educational development, our judicial development. Right? We don't live in a country where we can control it, where we don't have to worry about police brutality. We don't do that. We don't have to worry about our kids being miseducated. Where we don't have to worry about them only promoting, producing, and having music go out that doesn't uplift the community. And I said, dude, you got to master the plantation. So in the book, they said, Jeremiah, you have to have a hoe in one hand and a shield in the other. So you got to work and build and protect and fight. It's a duality here. Black people have to live in a state of duality. Where and we've done that ever since the beginning of us being here. After work, we went into the bush and they called on the creator ancestors and said, we know we're better than this. And we're going to keep fighting until we get to this place. And they got here. Because it's us. That's how our ancestors' wildest dream, but we're supposed to be focused on taking it to the next level. And that's what we're not doing. We got here and we're getting comfortable in the places that we're sitting in. Spiritual guides, and I know one, powerful, giving in to the modern day slavery that existed. And as we move, they yet again are changing the mousetrap. What? They're changing the mousetrap. COVID was showing them how to build another better mousetrap. Period. So you don't know what's happening. And you're not preparing, we as a people are not preparing to fight against this mousetrap that we are all embraced in. And this is the third mousetrap, which it gets scarce. Modern technology. What COVID taught major corporations and companies is that it doesn't need the workforce as much as it used to. So the economy, when people say, I can't wait for it to get back to normal, companies will not be utilizing commercial real estate as much anymore. So, if in the industrial age, and I don't know if y'all seen it, in the industrial age, now you can go downtown Atlanta and get, I had a picture of a loft, and get these big places that they break down into lofts. They'll get rid of all that other stuff. These empty warehouses, turn them into lofts, and it's good living. I had me a loft. I loved it. Wait. I think I do have it. Nope, I didn't have it set up. But a loft where you just living good. That's how you know the change is coming. So now with the highly technological era, this is another mousetrap. And then we have to prepare for the mousetrap that it is. And this mousetrap, it sucks us in so deep when we don't even know we suck. And this is going to be continued. I knew I couldn't do this all in one night. So we're going to talk about this again, and I might drop it. Because I already got the setup to do it. So we might drop it again tomorrow. I need to offset the part of the slavery that I've been a part of, but it sucked me in. Somebody saying, hey, what happened to your schedule? I got caught in the mousetrap. We call it the matrix. My job, this modern day plantation, this highly technological era where you get lost in your device. You get lost in it. You find your identity in it. They got us all messed up where they don't need as much of us to do the job anymore. Now, I don't know if y'all sit down because I'm about to embrace it myself. Artificial intelligence. Man, they got these artificial intelligence engines that will do amazing things. And I'm learning it. And so if you don't sit down and jump into this new mousetrap, you're going to be fading out because they're going to get more people out of jobs, out of work. How you eating? I don't know. Did you learn how to plant anything? Did you create a community farm? Did you help feed people? Why? Because when this goes off, and we did something called digital colonialization, get ready. You have to know the game in order to play the game. And if you don't understand the rules of the game, you're going to be lost. You're going to be lost. And we got to understand the rules in which it's all economic. And when they don't need us physically no more, we're going to have to find a way to rely on each other to manifest and grow these things. We got to learn the rules of the game. And if you don't know the rules of the game, you're getting caught out there. You got to be building. Man, I had a meeting today that says we about to be self-sufficient. For real, for real. World of Akiba Land is talking to Senegal. It's a developer in Senegal. To help create World of Akiba Land institutions in Senegal. What? Yes. I said, if this developer responds to me, I know I'm walking down the right path. Y'all start saying a prayer for black people and black youth. You got to learn the rules of the game, and you got to plan against the game. You got to plan against the machine. Rage against the machine. Because forever, we've been playing checkers while they've been playing chess. 8 moves ahead. Ain't that something? And if you play checkers, when the name of the game is chess, you lose. And that's why it doesn't matter how many of us become economically independent, economically free. We got more millionaires in this country than we've ever had before, and we still don't have a chain of schools that we can send our kids to. It takes one individual, every time one individual, he's going to open one school. Why? But if you got all of the individuals, and this is what they don't want, white folks are not scared of your rage. They don't care if you get mad and riot. This is chess, not checkers. They're scared of your love. Because if you can love each other to work together to build something, it'll be hard to destroy it. And you let one individual, a few individuals get out, yeah, they'll save quite a few, or help quite a few, if there's something for them to save them for. But this new mousetrap that they building is a bad one. Man, we be out there not knowing the name of the game, yet running around chasing cheese. Chasing cheese. We got black women exploiting themselves online. And I'm not going to name nobody, because I'm not a hater. If this is the slave you want to be, then be the slave. If this is what you want to partake in, then do it. But my mentor, Jamoja Bebe Ajiman, in his last days, we was riding in the van, we come back from somewhere, and he said, I'm sorry for y'all. Why? He said, because y'all got it hard. So what you mean? He said, they're going to make the world look so good, people will not know that they're still slaves. They won't even understand what freedom truly looks like. To be self-determined as a people. To educate your children the way we see fit. To rid ourselves from any indoctrination from any other group. And get back to where God has called us to be. But we out here chasing cheese. What's your cheese? And that's a question. If you'll understand the game if you can understand what's your cheese. What do you chase in this world that does not steer you to the liberation of our people? What are you chasing? Have you pushed your kids out the house, or have you undeveloped your children, and you're glad that they're adults, and you push them out the house, and now your cheese is traveling? Did you develop your LLC and you say, I'm going to focus on getting money? and you chasing the greenbacks without no spiritual development, what cheese are you eating? Are you doing absolutely nothing? And you just sitting on a couch eating cheese, lazy cheese. What's your cheese? How are you evolving into an experience where we are self-determined as a people? How are you contributing to that? Whatever cheese you chase, you're still being controlled. Because now we are financially well off, we have more time, but we never orchestrate our time to build anything for us as a people. And I got caught up in the cheese chase, where I told my community, yo, I need to take a break, I need to step back, because I need to get a hold of this new job I got, and it's taking everything I got to chase that cheese. And so my efforts for the liberation of black people kind of dwindled, but there was one thing I always knew. I got to get back to raging against the system. Because nobody rage. When God calls you to rage, you rage. I had an conversation with a family member. And I am a revolution inside the revolution. I already know that. I'm always going to be the revolution inside the revolution. I already know that. Why? Because I'm going to always push the envelope. Is what I do. Because a lot of us still chasing the wrong cheese, and sometimes we allow that job. We had a conversation in regards to a sleep ministry, and there's nothing wrong with it, as long as when you wake up, you're focused on the liberation of black people. You can't give the system 8 hours of your time and give God 2, 3, 4. If you're burnt out after work, it means that you need to pile on some more spiritual energy, because we are infinite energy beings. Infinite energy beings. And sometimes I get mad at the people who sit down and try to put me in a box when I know I'm an infinite energy being and let God do what God do. I'm not chasing cheese like you. No disrespect, because I've elevated. I'm waiting for y'all to elevate too. This is everybody. So I look at individuals, I push hard. Why? Because I know who you are. Why? Because when I see you, I see me. When I see you, I see power. So when I see me, I see power. I see God. And we gotta move to break this. The only way you can get to this point where you chasing your cheese becomes an asset is when you, every other waking moment, and a waking moment is even in your sleep. Woo, let's talk about it. It's when everything about you exudes out. The liberation of black people. You know that you are raging against the machine. And sometimes we who are a part of a large community who are focused on the liberation of black people, we take our positions for granted. And so we as a people we don't, because we know that, hey, I'm a part of a larger group that does it. But what is your responsibility in it, and how much fervor do you live for manifesting the answer that God placed in you for the position that we're sitting in? How much do you fight it? How much do you go dig for it? You know that you're escaping the machine, the modern day slavery, when you can point and show aspects of your life are being molded to this experience. The liberation of our minds, the liberations of our bodies, the liberations of our spirit. It's not a part-time job. I can't sleep until I know at the end of the day that I've given God something. And it ain't for me, it's not financial. And I can tell you, it ain't financial. It's just not. It's the work ethic that I have to build. I build. Now, I use my finances to build. I don't turn, now, if someone donates to build, that's good. That's what you're supposed to do. And we do that. Me, I'm one of the worker bees. Give me the resources and I'll build the building. Give me the tools. I put the plumbing in. I'm gonna raise the ceiling. Give me a shovel, I build the ditches. I'm not gonna talk about it, I'm gonna be about it. That's why when people say, hey, I said, whatever's needed. If God has put it in me to do it, I'm gonna do it. What has God put in you? Do you allow, and we always say, it has to be a sacrificial generation, and it's every stage is sacrificial generations. In this generation, yeah, we got to find out what our sacrifices are so that the next generation has something to stand on, because I can tell you, after the civil rights movement, no other generation has built anything else that has moved the needle even more. Individuals have. But what is a generational movement? I'm waiting for the chain of schools. I'm going to try to do that myself. I'm waiting for the chain of medical facilities. Somebody needs to come up with one. I'm waiting for the chain of food markets. I'm waiting for us to get together. I'm participating in it. But that's it. When I wake up, I'm like, okay, what next? And you should be, what next? But in this highly technological era, there is something that we're fighting against that we don't understand. Let me see if I can. And I had it. And we're not gonna talk about this tonight. This is why I gotta drop it more than once. Where you at? Here we go. There is a control, this digital colonialization, this new era where it don't matter if they know that they slaves, they not gonna move nothing. Because this new mousetrap is literally tackling what's happening between our ears. Technology taps into your dopamine and leaves you brain dead in so many different ways. It's like you stay on a high. You stay on a high. So you really believe life is gravy. And we're going to talk about how this new technological era keeps us away from focus on the liberation of our people, while it breaks even more gaps between the haves and the have-nots. And the have-nots are so stuck being doped, they don't even know it, and won't get it until it's too late. You got to be careful. This new technological scenario. So if you ain't chasing money, you chasing your next fix. And we're going to break down how this technological era keeps you locked in to this modern day slave experience. Because every now and then I find myself caught up in it. And God And the ancestors are talking to me. They're giving me the downloads. And I'm sharing that information with you. We got to be careful. And so, knowing that this is the answer to every problem that we have. In our community, we say that there is nothing more sacred than the liberation of black people. And if it doesn't lead you to the liberation of black people, it is a pure distraction. And if you have no effort in your life that goes towards the liberation of black people, or the scale is balanced, I'm raging for the machine more than I'm raging against the machine, it's a problem. Understand the game. And let's use our resources to build something for ourselves. And let's stop getting doped up. We're going to talk about being doped up tomorrow. I love this thing, man. I love when the ancestors are speaking to me, and I take the time to allow it to come out. For me, some of the things, this is exactly what I'm doing. I said, I need to let them know, understand that you got to understand the game. We playing chess, not checkers. Sometimes you slip up and move a checker piece on a chessboard, and it crumbles your life. You fall out of balance. Some of us are so doped up, we don't even know. We just good-looking slaves. That has to change. Ask yourself tonight, is there anything that I'm doing that moves the liberation of black people forward? In my community, we struggling. I told them, I said, you want to do something for black people? 3 things. Other than what we're already doing, add 3 things in this modern day. Add a like, add a comment, and add a share. 3 things. Now, I'm not going to buy. I could purchase likes. I can purchase comments and shares. Be careful. You'll see individuals growing because they purchased it. Nah, I want this to be organic. Liberation of black people. All 1 million followers. Pure. That's what I'm asking for. But we're going to get there. One day. Why? Because there is nothing more sacred than the liberation of our people. And when you can sit down and say that there is something in your life that you know goes towards the liberation of our people, then that day is going to be the day we watch the African in you rise. Till tomorrow. One love.